Hey, good afternoon, fellow subscribers. Thank you again for joining me today. We are going to cover this issue with memory cards and what preference of memory cards that I prefer when I use builds for my Raspberry Pi. As you can see here, I have an assortment of memory cards laid out for you in storage options. So I hope you enjoy this review. So I really wanted to do this review because I felt passionate about it. And I've been asked personally several times, Keo, what kind of memory card do you use? So I've also seen a lot of YouTubers and people in the modding and building community make reference and suggest this type of memory card. So I know a lot of you guys out there in the arcade one-up modding community and so forth aren't aware of this issue, and some of you are new to the whole Raspberry Pi thing, side of things. So let me just take this opportunity to inform you a little bit about the Raspberry Pi and certain requirements that are different between images. These are the kind of memory cards that I use specifically for a lot of images and builds. Now, some of these, for example, this SanDisk Ultra, I won't be buying any more of these. This SanDisk Extreme Ultra Plus, or SanDisk Extreme Plus, which has a little 3 down here at the bottom, I use this specifically for my drones because you need a high read and write speed for 4K and for drones. DJI is very particular about the type of memory cards you put into their unit. The 32 gig size and this 128 up here, I would only use for something I really want to test out. I would not use this for something I plan on keeping long term. It's just what I call a little junk memory card. Now, with that being said, the memory cards of choices that you typically want to stick with are the Samsung Evo or the SanDisk Extreme Plus memory cards here. They have a very high read and write speed, I believe of like 85 to 60, I believe, of read and write speed. And some of the images and builds that you guys are downloading or are now just getting familiar with need a little bit more oomph to make it work appropriately. For example, the 64 and the 256, this was actually my MasterCard here, which I put everything on there. Now, I got this memory card really when I first started learning Raspberry Pi. However, I will not be buying any more cards like this because for those of you who don't know, Dwayne Hurst, he's one of the major, or if not the best theme maker for the Raspberry Pi RetroPie community. A lot of his themes to require to run, you need a good read and write speed to be satisfied with it because it has a lot of images and things running in the background. Excuse me. And so while using this card, I've noticed that when I use the Soda Pop image or theme rather, and several other themes, it has a lag effect. For example, scrolling back left and right, the images won't load appropriately. There'll be a little bit of a delay. However, I don't get that with using these Samsung Evo cards. And as you notice, most of the higher-end cards that I use, all will say a little 3 there. There you go. It has a little 3 there in the box. Whereas opposed to these have a 1. I don't recommend this card at all. Using this, even with the Soda Pop theme, it lagged. Now, I've tried a number of themes on the RetroPie, and these kind of cards will lock up on you. And it's surprising to me because a lot of people who are in the community who have been doing this longer than I have will still advertise or show cards like these for sale. And I highly advise against that because these cards are affordable. The 64 Evo cost me about 15 bucks. The 128 Evo cost me about $19 around Christmas time. In fact, I picked up a whole rack of those. And there's an interesting story. Around Christmas time, people were clearing off the racks buying these cards just because they were a little cheaper. However, these had the bigger discounts in ratio in terms of what they originally cost as opposed to what they were being sold for on Black Friday. And people didn't touch these. So there still needs to be a little bit more clarification in the community when people are buying data storage, as far as what you're going to use it for. But this video is particularly made for Arcade 1UP users and guys doing modding. I use Samsung Evo, or I would prefer to use a SanDisk Extreme Plus, because not only do they have the 3, I've tested this personally with over 50 images, 50 builds from arcade punks, different games and so forth, and you will see a difference. This SanDisk Ultra 128 gigabyte, I don't recommend or suggest this at all. I got this one months ago for $24 from Amazon. They were fairly cheap at the time, but it locks up with a lot of images. It freezes. I have problems. In fact, even changing the themes. For example, the Blu-ray theme, which I do use occasionally, it'll work fine on any one of these memory cards. However, some themes, which will require a little bit more system resources and read and write speed, it will run like crap. And you'll get frustrated and think it's the build entirely or the image. And that is not the case. That is why you need to be very peculiar about what kind of memory cards you are modding or using in your Raspberry Pi excuse me, for your Arcade 1UP device. As you can see here in this video, I don't have a problem with any of the read or write speed with the Soda Pop image. As you can see, I am scrolling left and right, and there is no little white image popping up with a little screen delay, as you saw in the previous video, using one of the SanDisk Ultra memory cards that are A1 certified. No lag at all. We also have over here, this is a Samsung solid state drive. Now, I have not gotten around to this yet, but I will include this in one of my builds where I use this just to see if there's a little bit of performance with this memory card. I use the Supreme version 2, moving over to the Supreme version 3 in a few more days. And we'll see how this really performs with this, because that type of build allows you to use an external disk or external hard drive space for your games and so forth. But this will really come in handy if you're playing PlayStation or Nintendo 64 games. But for the ROMs itself, a lot of these memory cards will work. They will suffice if you're using just arcade games and Arcade 1UP for your Arcade 1UP system and setup. They are fine, but please keep in mind that a lot of these memory cards will gradually affect your build and your image and the games you're playing if you're downloading additional things. All right, guys, I think I've pretty much clarified everything that I needed to say as far as this video, and I hope that it's been informal for you. Please consider subscribing. We still have Supreme version 3 we need to release. I still need to edit and cut my video for my Arcade 1UP mod. I've been about a month and a half behind on that project due to several other things I've been involved in. But please consider subscribing to the channel, and also hit that notification bell. I will be uploading quite a few videos here in the next week or so, and I hope you guys have a great day, and stay tuned for some more exciting stuff, because I promise you it's definitely coming, and don't blink, you'll definitely miss it here on this channel. All right, peace.